This week in Maker News, we have a resin printer that can run two jobs at the same time, a filament recycling system that sounds great until you think about it for about 5 minutes, a rare maker company expanding in the US, and edible 3D printing that I misunderstood, and it really ruined my day. Welcome back to PLP Maker News, which has been rated the best Maker News program in the world, hosted by a bearded man in the Midwest wearing a blue polo shirt. Don't want to get too specific. Let's get into it. Our first story is all about Anycubic and their brand new, soon to be released, dual vat resin printer. Anycubic announced the Photon P1, a resin printer that can use two independent resin vats. You can run it in one large vat mode or split it separately into two smaller vats and run two jobs at the same time, potentially with different colors or different materials, or different colors and different materials. This is not just a color swap feature. It changes how you can use the printer day to day, especially for those batch jobs or multi-color, multi-part prints. The build plate size matches the Photon M7 Pro, so in theory, the footprint should be similar at roughly 25 by 25 by 28 inches. Kickstarter pricing starts at $4.99 with a retail listed price of $7.99. So go ahead and save yourself a couple $100 there and get it while it's on Kickstarter, while supplies last. But that is not the full setup. To actually run the dual vat system, you need additional hardware, a material separator, and a perforated steel plate. On Kickstarter, the bundle is an additional $198. Retail pricing is $119 per component. To be fair, this scales cleanly. No weird Kickstarter discount traps. Just make sure you know what you're getting when you order it. There's no crazy, hey, this is this price, and then we're going to jack it way up for the retail. So thank you, Anycubic, for being pretty linear, pretty straightforward there. Now, why would you want to use two prints at the same time with different colors or different material? Maybe you've got a multi-piece set that you need to print with this kind of resin and this kind of resin. Full disclosure, I am not a resin guy. I've never printed with resin. I have used resin to smooth out some prints, but that is a different story there. The flexibility is nice. The smaller footprint of owning one printer that can do two different jobs at the same time is nice. One use case that I thought of off the top of my head is if you are making a unique chess set. Obviously, all the pawns want to be the same, all the queens, the bishops, all that needs to be the same, but they need to be in two different colors, black and white, red and green, purple and blue. You understand what I'm saying? You could run the same thing at the same time. What you can't do is run one job that takes, say, 45 minutes and another job that takes an hour and 15 minutes. And on that 45-minute half, you're just kind of stuck. It's just there. This is still more of kind of an advanced setup. It is nice. Like I said, you can run two different colors, two different resin types. It is nice. There is possibly a role in the tabletop RPG setup where you might want to make some of your minis in different colors if you're not into painting them. But then again, if you're printing them in resin and doing all that, likely you or someone you play with thoroughly enjoys painting and would happily paint them for you. This does change the workflow a little bit. However, it doesn't change it all that much. And depending on your use case, you might actually be better off with two resin printers rather than one printer with two chambers. This is genuinely a clever idea. Not cheap once fully configured, not a replacement for two independent printers, but meaningful expansion of what is a single resin printer and what that single printer can do. Overall, glad to see the innovation. Good job, Anycubic. Next up, a quieter story that I actually like. Creative 3D Technologies is relocating its headquarters to Cedar Park, Texas. building out a larger facility and planning on adding about 45 high-skilled jobs over the next couple years. This stands out because there are very few maker or consumer hardware companies in the United States. Most of the machines we talk about come out of China or Europe. So this could be a play at trying to dodge some of the tariffs. Say what you will, good, bad, or indifferent. Bringing it to the US could make things cheaper, could make things better. I don't know. Tariffs are not my thing. I'm trying not to be political. I'm just trying to state basic facts here. It is neat to see that they will be adding about 45 jobs over the next few years. That's pretty awesome. And in case you're wondering where Cedar Park, Texas is, it is north of Austin. I believe that they are in the Austin metro area already, so this makes sense. They're looking for some local government subsidies. I believe they're looking for some sales tax breaks and potentially some breaks for their employees buying houses in the area. That is good or bad. I don't know. It seems like the city would be still making a decent chunk of change, collecting some of that tax from the people moving there. Could be great for a more local U.S. supplier and builder to get some parts out. I don't know. This isn't exactly a flashy story, but it is still a good signal for the maker industry. More competition, more companies, more better. A Kickstarter project called Extruder X, just like the XFL, aims to let makers recycle failed prints and plastic waste into a new filament home. The machine is largely a 3D printable combined with relatively affordable hardware, with estimates ranging from about $180 to $250. It works by shredding plastic waste and mixing it with new pellets and extruding fresh filament. The key detail is the ratio in this one. At about 60% new pellets to 40% recycled material, this is blending, not pure recycling, but as it stands right now, this is just kind of how this goes. This is the first project I've seen that is trying to go mass market to try to save you money, save me money, save us all money, and stop wasting some of our PLA prints, our failed prints. With multicolor extruding now and multicolor systems like the CFS, you have a lot of waste. You have a lot of poop, whether that is the poop or whether that is a tower or however you are dealing with the color changing. That has gotten significantly better with the multi-tool, multicolor systems. But those of us who are stuck in the olden days with a single extruder head, we have lots of waste. Whether we want to or not, no matter how careful we are, whether we dump as much and flush as much into the infill as possible, sometimes it is just not possible. Now, the catch is here. You do need to shred and pelletize and dry and sort your material. You can't mix materials. You can't have PLA, PETG, ABS, ASA, ABCD, EFG, any of those materials in there. All that has to be separated, which, if you're keeping track, if this is a system you're buying, you're going to know ahead of time that you need to make sure my PLA stays out of my PETG. What's unclear is how this will interact with different types of PLA. For example, will the bog standard PLA from any company work? Or is there some special sauce that Anycubic does, or Prusa, or Elegoo, or Bamboo, or whatever, and just the bog standard? Forget the fast PLA. Or the strong PLA. Will this work with the carbon fiber? My guess is no, but I don't know. That's something I don't have. I haven't tested. I don't know. I couldn't find any real information on this. We all know that different brands behave differently. Even if they're all PLA, everybody has a little bit of their secret sauce in there to make theirs the best. This is interesting, and to be honest about its limitations, we don't want to expect this to magically solve everything in its first go, but I'd love to see where this goes. I'd love to see how this goes. I want to see where they take it. Our last story, edible 3D printing, sounds absolutely delicious. Researchers in Italy are developing a 3D printed snack made from lab-grown plant cells and fruit residues. Sounds delicious. Pitched as a sustainable and customizable food. I need to admit something. I thought this was going to be about chocolate. I really thought they were just going to dump a load of Hershey Kisses right in the top and 3D print a delicious chocolate castle that I could just gnaw at. Turns out I was wrong, and they're actually using lab-grown plant cells and fruit residues, which just doesn't sound delicious, if I'm being completely honest. I thought maybe besides the chocolate, they could have made pancakes and made 3D pancakes. That would have been delicious and awesome. It is interesting science nonetheless, but it is not something that I want to invest in. Called me old-fashioned, but I like my plants grown in the ground, and I like my meat eating the grass from the grounds. I don't want to eat the food my food eats, to quote Ron Swanson. Absolutely not ready for use in my house. Also, probably horribly impractical and not very easy to get going in a residential situation. All the sources are linked in the description below if you want to dig into any of these stories and learn more yourself. As always, think critically, not just optimistically.